Our merry-go-round of champs has given us a lot of interesting final wager situations, and tonight, no exception. Gabor in the lead, 14,400. Brendan second, 12,800. Diane, 10,800. Let's begin. Okay. Brendan doubles up. He's going to have 25,600. So to cover him, Gabor is going to need to wager 11,200. If he gets it wrong with that wager, he will be left with 3,200. So to stay above that, Brendan can wager up to 9,600. And Diane up to 7,600. Okay, now we turn to second and third, Brendan and Diane. If Diane doubles up, she's going to have 21,600. So to cover that, Brendan will need to wager 8,800. This falls in with his range of no more than 9,600. If he gets it wrong, he's going to be left with 4,000. So Diane's going to want to cap her wager at 6,800. Now for rule number 3. And you'll recall that in a close game, usually only the third place player can take advantage of a rule number 3 wager. If Diane wants to cover both Gabor and Brendan, the difference between these two is 3,600. She can't cover twice the difference between her and Gabor. That'd be 7,200, too much. But she can cover twice the difference between herself and Brendan, so that'd be 4,000. Okay, now, if we're going to look at some alternative wagers now. So if Brendan thinks that Diane is going to be rational and wager no more than 6,800, he can wager to cover that. She'll have 17,600. So he could wager 4,800. In response, if he gets it wrong with that wager, he'll be left with 8,000. So if Diane thinks that he might do that, or Brendan might do that, she could wager no more than 2,800. And then if we think of rule number 3, cover the difference between them, that's 2,000, just in case Brendan wagers 0. So that's going to be her alternative wager. And one more thing we can look at is if Gabor thinks that Brendan is going to be rational and wager 9,600, he'll have 22,400. That means if Gabor wants to risk being passed, but make a good wager, he could wager 8,000. Then there are other, third level wagers that we could look at, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that. You're already assuming that Gabor is going to think that Brendan is already rationally wagering, and to say that, maybe Diane should restrict her wager, so that if Gabor thinks that Brendan is going to wager rationally, it's a lot. But we can look at it quickly. 6,400. So if Diane's really scared of this, she could wager up to 4,400. I wouldn't be overly concerned, though. And then here, 6,400. It's actually half this score. All right, let's look at how our players did. Diane went first. Got it right, wagered 6,000. Very good wager. Brendan went next. Got it wrong. Left himself with $100. Not a very good wager at all. And Gabor, well, he got it wrong, and he wagered 56.01 for some reason. Now, there's been a lot of focus this week on the $10,000 wager, which hasn't made sense yet. And for the double 10,000, 20,001 wager, also doesn't make any sense. I have no idea why Gabor did this. If he wants to cover just Diane, he should have wagered to get to 21,600. Or if he thought that Diane was going to go small, he should have wagered for that. I think it's 3,200. But with this wager, there's no real upside. He could be passed by either Diane or Brendan. And that extra dollar shows that he really didn't know what he was doing. Okay. Merry-go-round continues. I might actually go for a ride on one today. We'll see. Could be fun. We'll see you Friday on the final wager.